Jalopy Studios in beautiful Florida, it's time for the 51, where we talk a little bit about a lot with your hosts, Johnny Jalopy and Ity-B. The 51 is sponsored by Johnny Jalopy Hot Rod Art. Go check out JohnnyJalopy.com. Wear what the cool kids wear, shirts, hats, and stickers at JohnnyJalopy.com. And now, the 51.
What is up? It is a Thursday, Super Thursday. Have a Super Thursday.
Episode 2.
Episode 2.
For anyone keeping track.
Who's keeping track?
People must be. Someone must be.
So what's going on? As we got our laptops up in front of us.
I know.
Looking all pro-like, like we're in
We're like super pro.
Yeah, it's like almost like a news program. Yeah, that's just in. So what's going on?
So, just an FYI, we don't have our guest tonight. We were hoping to have a guest, but we are sans guest.
Sans guest.
So it's just going to be Johnny and I talking about some fun stuff and
we'll go
happenings, and we have a little bit of a routine here that we've got.
A routine?
No, a flow.
This isn't
we got a flow.
It's not like it's a... What are we, gymnasts or something?
No.
Coming to the floor with a super routine.
I don't know if anyone is aware. I'm sporting my beanie tonight.
Yeah, you got your beanie.
I've been talking about it.
Tonight's look, Itty's look, sponsored by
Get the Look.
Sears.
Sears.
Is that where you got it?
No, I got it at like Hot Topic. Hot Pocket.
Oh, it was Hot Topic.
It was Hot Topic.
For all your belly piercing needs.
Yeah. They were like, "Excuse me, ma'am, why are you in this store?"
Yeah, you're a little old to be in here. You're not really our demographic.
Whatever.
But
I have my Madonna bracelets that I get from Hot Topic.
I'm sporting nothing.
Nothing.
Just my skin on skin. Hey, so how was your? How you doing?
I'm doing really well.
It's been a couple days since I've seen you.
I know.
It's like catching up.
Johnny's just getting back into town. Just rolled in this evening, actually. So
yeah, I just rolled in.
You did just
flew in
from Orlando.
God, my arms are tired.
So yeah, good to have you back.
Thanks,
Good
appreciate it. Good to be back.
You're a dork.
Why am I a dork?
You're just funny.
We're supposed to be all natural, like we don't know each other. So yeah, how was your weekend? What'd you do? What you been up to?
You were literally gone a day.
It was 3 days. It was actually 3 days.
You left Tuesday night. You were gone all day yesterday.
I'm not the one that posted. Oh my god, no.
I missed you.
Yeah,
Anyways,
all
right, let's get into some stuff because I'm excited.
What kind of stuff's going on?
Well, fall temps. I'm sure.
Let's go to the weather map.
Let's go to the weather map.
It's the weather with Ity-B.
We had a couple mornings under 70 degrees here in Florida, so getting a little nippy. This is my
far from nippy.
My favorite time of year.
I did see people that had snow.
Yes, well,
that's crazy.
Colorado's had some snow. There was it Michigan or Minnesota? One of the M's had some snow.
Great Lakes. And
Great
if you
Lakes
notice
region.
here, there's a westerly wind blowing all this way. We'll put up the map. And there's a cold front coming down from Wisconsin. Well, I don't even know if Wisconsin's here. But, look at the heat wave in Florida. High temps in the 70s.
I'm excited because I love fall. I'm not a huge pumpkin spice person. I know a lot of people are pumpkin spice. I like pumpkin.
I'm not a big pumpkin spice person either.
But I don't do pumpkin spice coffee. I don't do pumpkin spice tea, creamer, none of that. But I do love the fall season, so I'm excited. I'm sure a lot of you guys are feeling it around the United States in the falling.
Well, everybody's feeling it except for us.
Except for us.
We are in a heat wave, but I guess that's the advantage. That's why people move to or retire in Florida.
We do have an influx
Florida,
of upper states.
Yeah.
Flowing into Florida, which is good. Yeah, we love it.
So I didn't tell you, your dad's coming into town, and
Tuesday.
One of my projects this week was supposed to be get the bug to the repair center because I still am having issues with getting Kona to idle.
That's right.
So I spent 3 or 4 days trying to get it all where I could gear it up. Mm-hmm. Borrowed a tow bar from old Dan Kilbride and spent the morning trying to get that going. And apparently my drop hitch is not low enough.
not dropped enough.
And you hear him going, I should really raise the truck higher. So that's concerning. I don't know if, yeah. You can't have high in a low vehicle.
You can't.
So I guess I should have went lowered truck instead.
You gotta drop it like it's hot.
Drop it like it's hot.
It's the beanie. It's the beanie.
Yeah. Won't be long. We're gonna be. This is just an Ity-B goes on a drive-by.
No. Yeah. So we are at a loss. Dad flies in on Tuesday. We have Raquel though, trusty 51 Chevy Raquel.
Who are you talking to?
Huh? I'm talking to the viewers.
Oh, sorry.
You know we have Raquel.
Oh.
She's been parked out front for 11 years.
Notice who's front and center. Welcome to the 51, starring Ity-B. And her sidekick. Well, I hope I'll be able to chime in every once in a while. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
In any case.
So your dad's... Wow. Even shunned me.
I will dismiss
like an Andy Richter to my Conan. Go ahead.
Dismiss you.
Go ahead, Conan. I'll just sit over here.
So Dad's coming in on Tuesday. We were hoping to have an extra vehicle. I was going to let him use mine.
Where's your dad coming in from?
Jersey.
New Jersey.
And he's not coming until Tuesday. So this Monday night's sketchy. He will not be with us, but we're hoping that he will be with us the following week. He has some plans out of town, so.
Sketchy, that's a fun show.
It really is. It really is.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
New Jersey, what's that like?
Wonderful. Especially this time of year.
How? It's still like warm, isn't it?
No, it's getting chilly. During the day it's chilly. It gets down really chilly at night. When the sun goes down, they're all bundled up already. I see my friends in boots already with scarves and drinking coffee outside.
Speaking of boots, did you see that post on Facebook where it was all like a bunch of blonde-haired ladies all in their really knee-high boots, and then they had like the vest with the white shirt and the look.
Yeah, I don't look at porn. So
Porn.
I don't know what you're perusing.
That's not true. You do look at porn. I've seen it. Whatever. Yeah, your search fields for, I'm supposing. Yeah. Okay. I don't want to get dirty. They call it blue. Did you know that?
Blue.
Like I've been listening to the Conan podcast.
Okay.
Gearing up, really trying to study.
Right.
Not working, by the way. You can tell. No, I guess when you go into comedy that's perverse or dark or whatever, or sexual, it's called blue comedy. I didn't know that.
That must be different than blue collar comedy.
Yeah, that's like the working man comedy.
Right.
Yeah, but blue.
Who knew?
Yeah.
We gotta find our niche.
In case you were wondering there.
Gotta find the niche.
I'm gonna go through my cards here. Random cards.
Yeah.
That's where
I have.
Because we had.
I have a clipboard.
As you said, we did have plans to have Dan Kilbride.
We did.
On, and apparently there are more important things than the 51. I guess.
Whatevs.
But he's with a local Volkswagen
He runs the local Volkswagen.
Called the local Volks.
Volks.
And every Thursday night they do a
meetup.
A meetup at the Causeway, which is this really cool place.
In Dunedin.
And is it Dunedin?
Dunedin.
It's not Dunedin?
It's Dunedin.
But you didn't.
It's the way I say it. Dunedin.
Dunedin. And it's pretty cool. We've gone a few times when the car was running. And it's a good time. A lot of great folks go out there and stuff.
Technically, we could go without the car. It would just be weird.
Yeah,
it would just be weird.
I don't want to be those. Yeah. We probably should be those people.
Spectators.
Just go and not. Yeah.
Just to hang out with the people because they are a really great group of people.
Yeah.
So anybody local in the Florida area, I would say Pasco, Pinellas, Hernando, Polk even.
I gotta imagine if they've got a Volkswagen, they probably know about it. And I'm sure there's local clubs in the area that do those kinds of things. It's a good time. It's definitely a good time. Anyways, Dan was supposed to be here. So in our preparation for having him, we had to quickly then prep to it to be just us. And then come up with a format that was a little more trying to not be structured, but structured.
Relax. We're a little bit more relaxed.
Relax, would you? Anyways, so I was cruising through Facebook and I noticed this last weekend.
Yes.
I asked you earlier if you happened to catch some of the pictures from the Gene
And
Winfield
I did
show.
not.
I can't believe you didn't see it. It was like
I know.
And you follow all those
I've been
guys.
slammed at work, so I haven't had perusing time, and I've been working some late hours. So when I've gotten home, and then you weren't home, so I just went straight to bed.
Yeah, and I've only seen pictures from Ian's page, and then a bunch on also on what do you call it, Instagram and stuff. But it looked like it was a lot of people there, and that's out in the Mojave Desert, so it's got to be a phenomenal show. And of course, you're hanging out. You know, Gene was there,
Right.
which last year, if you remember, the last show that Gene had, he was injured and he was stuck in
Overseas somewhere.
Yeah, Denmark or something like that. So
Right.
it was cool that he got to be at his own show.
Oh, so it was because we had done that fundraiser.
Yeah, so it's the Gene
Okay,
Winfield,
so that was a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
Car
sure he
show.
was happy to be at his own show instead of missing it.
Yeah.
And I know there were a lot of people that went that watched the show and that we're friends with on Facebook. And I probably did see photos, not realizing that that was the show. So
a lot of cool stuff. Ian took out the his dune buggy out there, which was cool, and him and his future lady were there, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And future lady, like she's from the future. She's from the future.
His lady,
Yeah.
just his lady.
His lady. And so that was cool. I got to talk to him on Sunday.
Well, we
caught
were
up
at
a little
lunch,
bit.
yeah.
And they're wrapping up. There's the big SEMA drive. All the big builders and stuff like that are gearing up.
Oh, do they all go together?
Who?
When you say the SEMA drive, are they driving?
Yeah, it's
there?
like a SEMA drive. Everybody gets in one car.
Is it a caravan?
Tons of people.
Do they
Gene
caravan?
Winfield gets in the car. Gambino brothers.
Is it a caravan?
No, it's the drive. They're on the push to get their builds done because
Not a physical drive. You mean an oomph?
Right, because they're gearing up, trying to get their projects done so that they can show the cool new stuff that they built at SEMA.
Cool.
Do you even know what SEMA is?
I know it's a big car show in Las Vegas.
It's not really a car show, though.
Well, it's more of a presentation show.
Is it? That's what I'm saying. Do you know what it is?
I really don't. Why don't you tell us?
Okay. So, of course, I'm not the expert on what SEMA is, but it started off. It's basically a trade show. So, like, when we went to the printing show.
Expo and
Yeah. So it's like that, but it's for the automotive industry.
Okay.
So it's turned into different facets, but mostly it's an opportunity for businesses to show off. Here's things that we can do for your business. Here's
car-related products, cleaners.
Right. So then you have custom car builders who will build projects for different companies that show off new product, that kind of stuff. And then it doesn't end up being this giant car show.
Which explains why you need the credentials to get in then.
Right. You can't just be some Joe Schmo off the street, see?
Look at the credentials we needed to get just to get into that print show.
Oh my God.
We went to in Orlando.
We clicked yes, we have a business.
We had to send them a copy of the business license.
Hey, can everybody hear us good? Oh, by the way, can you give me some thumbs ups and likes just to let me know that audio? I've got a new cable. We're trying to give us a little more stretch on the lav mics, and I want to make sure we can hear okay. If you need thumbs up, likes, that kind of thing. What are you getting on here, Denny? No, that's all right. Oh, there we go. So good, you can hear us fine. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, it's a big gear up for that kind of thing. But then it's turned into they have this one thing called, I think it's called like either Future Builders or something like that, and they pick guys that are the up and comers and do a challenge where they build a project for SEMA and they show that and they judge it, kind of thing, which is kind of neat.
Huh.
So the possibilities are, I know Ian is pushing to try to get the Space Junkie 3.0
and he
to the show, and
specifically asked
if
you would attend.
Well, if I can get down there, if the other car, if that car doesn't make it, they may try to get the Space Junkie 2.0, the bubble top that we designed, to the show, and so we may be trying to get to SEMA. So still working on that. I've been in contact with a few people we were also trying to get my credentials all squared.
Because we have credentials.
Yeah, well, and then the way I'm looking at here's how I've been thinking about it is excuse me, I know, if today doesn't, yeah, that plays really great for a podcast. This is why we don't have good mics yet, because that would have been like, hi guys. Yeah, so we're trying to get. So if it doesn't happen this year, I think we should plan to try to attend next year's show, because president, owner,
employee, more like.
It says on your credentials that you're the president.
No, I know. You're
Is it vice president? Is it vice president? Yeah.
You're on payroll.
Oh,
no,
good to know.
You're the president. I'm the vice, and I'm also the secretary and treasurer.
Yeah. So
a lot of responsibilities
with the whole credentials thing. That's something that you're better at numbers. So how long has Johnny Jalopy Hot Rod Art? How long have you?
We have been LLC since September of 2012. 7 years.
How long was it before we did that? Were we still trying to do to kind of build it?
2010 is when you started.
Yeah.
Doing the art.
Yeah.
Because we got Rock Hill in 2008. We went to a few shows in 2009. You were doing some stuff.
That's why you're here. Because this is the numbers thing. I don't remember this.
It's not the numbers. It's the dates. In 2009, when we were taking our very first shows, were at the Americana 50s Diner in Holiday.
Yeah, we set up a little table.
We were working with the Christian Hot Rod Association.
I had like 5 drawings that we made prints of.
Bob and Marty were running the show.
Yeah.
They still run the show.
Yeah, they still have.
It's so crazy. So all this time later, they're still running the show and putting together events.
Which is great.
But they let us set up a table, and we didn't have product available. We didn't even have product available.
No, I think at that point I was trying.
I was literally walking around with a clipboard.
The clipboard.
I love the clipboards. I really.
You really love clipboards.
I do. Oh, and this isn't the one with the stickers on it.
Yeah, what happened to that?
It's over here.
Oh, that's your other clipboard.
I have 2. I was walking around with a clipboard, and I was writing down names and phone numbers and what the person's car was, and then you were coming around with your camera, taking photos of the different angles that you might want to draw, because we were doing custom renderings. For what, like
50?
25? No, I don't even think they were.
It was like $40.
Yeah, maybe $40. Yeah, you were doing 40. Custom renderings.
And they were taking
not the case anymore.
Forever to do.
They were.
Yeah, it would take me like weeks, months.
That's really when we got started. I don't think we really rolled out. His goal was to at some point have his own product. He didn't want to have to keep taking the custom jobs, because he wanted to draw what he wanted to draw.
Well, there's the hard part of the custom job, especially, and it's still the hard part of doing custom renderings is, one, most people want it for free.
Or next to.
Two, my fault. I was letting a lot of folks who wanted their vehicles drawn to dictate how I would draw it.
Right.
And that, because I wanted to
stick into your style.
Because I wanted to please everybody, and I was really trying to get the name out there. And we're still working on that. I mean, it's still, years later, we're still trying to get the name out there. But I spent a lot of time trying to change my style to fit what they wanted.
Right.
And it was a struggle. Man, it was a struggle.
I will tell you, it is still a struggle. As recently as maybe 6 months ago, Johnny had done a custom piece for somebody. And when it came time to send him the final print of it, and he had sent him, because this is what he does, he'll send you stages
and I was happy to
of what he's done.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, oh yeah, let's do this. And then it got to the very end, and the guy's like, it doesn't look finished. And Johnny's like, well, it's done. That's my style.
Yeah.
This is how I'm doing it. And I think the guy just had a different thing in mind of what he wanted. So we're very clear now when somebody contracts you to do custom art.
Yeah, it's really difficult, and that's the hard part, because it is time consuming. It takes a lot of time, and
here's what I think happens. I think people are watching you draw in an hour, putting out what you're putting out on a Monday night when we're doing sketchy, thinking that, oh, it's only going to take him an hour to do it. Not the case, because when he's doing something that's not up here, he's having to really look at reference lines, and he does make it a bit tighter. It's still your sketchy style.
I try to make sure that,
but it's a little bit cleaner.
The finished product is a lot nicer.
Yeah.
Than some of the stuff I put out on on Mondays. Because again, the premise of the Monday night
sketchy
show is that it's sketchy, and that's really, and honestly, that has changed a lot of the style in which I draw now too. I'm a lot more comfortable doing looser, type cartoony looking stuff, where before I was really trying to have it to look kind of real, but also skewed and stuff like that. Which makes it hard sometimes for like the designing part, like when I was working with Ian and he wanted drawings done immediately too, and it was very difficult because, you look at the finished part of the Johnny 5, that's a really tight finished, I spent a lot of time on that, where as we're drawing stuff in the show, and they wanted to film me drawing on the show, which that part was nerve-wracking. I'm like, please don't show me drawing.
Don't make me do it.
Yeah, and so that was, and that's what made me go, I need to become more comfortable, because what if in the future
you're called on to do that?
An opportunity comes up to where they're saying, hey man, draw something, live, and I just freeze. So that was the whole premise of the Getting Sketchy too, was trying to
just to get you comfortable.
Yeah, to try to get that into like a working deal to where it felt like it would come natural to be able to sketch. I look at dudes like Micah Doodles. And that guy, I go, man, he the way he will throw stuff down very quickly, is inspirational. But also, and there's the hard part of it for me, and I'm sure other guys are the same way in whatever field you're in, and gals too. You're competitive, but you're also supportive.
Right.
It's competitive to watch him do it, and I go, oh, damn it, why can't I do it that way, or why can't it look like his does? Because I admire the guy's art. He's one of the guys. But then I look at like a Max Grundy or a Nate Greco, freaking Zombie. That guy's still one of the guys early on in my career. Is that yeah? Early on in my art career, Scott Stevens, aka Zombie, where his art, that guy does pencil pen. Or pencil, a lot of color pencil on black paper, and his chrome is amazing. I wish my chrome looked like his chrome, but Lee Goody, another guy from Australia, phenomenal artist. Of course, Keith Wiesner, another phenomenal artist. There's a ton of guys that
giant list of people that could name off. For years has followed these people and
John Mitchell, Drag Daddy, list goes on and on. There's lots of dudes that I look at their art on a daily and am inspired by it. But that's the drive, is to try to, and I get a lot of frustrated sometimes when I look at their stuff and I go, man, they've progressed so much quicker than me in a lot of endeavors.
I think.
But I have to remind myself they probably gone through the same struggles.
I think so.
So we've done a lot of stuff to grow the business. We've taken a lot of risks in different things, trying to develop different product. Like the T-shirt line itself, that was a long time coming to get it to a point, and I don't think we're still where I'd like it to be.
No, and I think we're on the verge of being able to do more pretty quick. So.
Well, that's the biggest thing that changed. When we talked about doing apparel for Johnny Jalopy, it was like, remember the first show we did in Daytona?
Yeah.
We lugged boxes and boxes and boxes, and we tried to order one shirt to have a design. So I'm like, we gotta have a T-shirt. You're like, I don't know about that. And then we did it, and I wasn't happy with it. Not that the quality of how it was printed wasn't good, because what we had done was done right. It was just, I didn't know enough about how to make T-shirt art, really.
And we had tossed around because we liked the quality. We liked the quality of the screen print. So our first 3 shirt runs were screen printed, and then he did some research. You did some research. A lot of
research. I did a lot of YouTube.
Talked to a lot of different people, and we found a pretty good quality transfer. And I'll tell you what, it has made it so much easier to be able to accommodate for sizing for people. Quickness in orders. We have an entire mobile setup that we could bring to a show.
Yeah.
We did. We brought it to that.
Yeah,
show
that was like our first trying to see how
Christian Brothers.
Yeah, a little fundraiser show that happened. In fact, we got to get with them because they want some more donations since we can't be there this year.
Right.
But it showed us that we could definitely take it mobile and it would function. And that weather wasn't the best that day either. It was a little windy. and that was
and
a
we
part
still
where,
made it work.
Yeah, and but that was the thing we talked about. You know, do we buy? You know, nothing against the screen printing industry. If we could afford it, it would be amazing.
Right.
Because there's so much more options.
This is just
colors and all that stuff.
Way less investment.
Yeah, 50
financially.
50 designs, for instance, in the way we're doing it, take up about this much room.
Right.
Where 50 T-shirts is like 4 bins.
Right.
And
then running
what
out
size
of a certain
you get.
size. Yeah, because we've had that problem at some shops.
That was the difficult part too. So that's been there's been some changes in how we've grown that portion of the business.
Our concern was the quality of the products that we were putting out because that meant so much to us, and it still does. And we've been really happy with it. I mean, we've made these shirts for Johnny, and he's literally these are like the only shirts he wears ever. So I'm washing these things, you know, for weeks on end, and they've really held up. So we're proud of the quality that we're putting out. Same with the hats. Yeah. The hats are amazing quality.
Not that we're trying to turn this into an infomercial.
No,
but I think it's an interesting topic for anybody who's out there, and I'm sure those guys are starting off, and maybe because we are putting this on YouTube now, that are starting off in their t-shirt business. And I'll tell you, from experience, which it feels weird to say that we have some experience now. There's not a lot of sharing of information, and because everybody looks at it as competition. And I've always felt, and luckily enough, there have been a few guys that have felt the same way that have helped me in different things. This is one aspect. Unfortunately, not a lot of people helped, other than, hey, I'll do it for you for a set amount of money. To where I'm like, you know, here's an affordable way to start an apparel business that you can do at home. And, you know, if folks are interested in more of that type of information, we'd love to talk more about it on future episodes of the 51.
Yeah, this is kind of an informational episode.
You know, in the comments here, or if you happen to see us on YouTube, definitely in the comments there if you have questions. I guess that's another thing we need to start doing. We got to start getting on YouTube and check there. I've noted there's been now comments.
Oh, other questions?
Yeah. So we got to start.
That's another thing for you to do.
So, but hey, we'd be more. I'm all about trying to be someone who can, you know, pay it forward type thing, and because it's not an easy thing to try to do your own business, and we've made some mistakes. We still continue, unfortunately, to make mistakes.
There's a few.
We are far from an Amazon business or anything like that, so
we're trying our best.
We appreciate the support we get from you guys out there, and of course, folks that order and stuff. It's been great.
Real quick, time for the shakedown. Yes.
Already?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I know. I'm gonna do it now because. And did you even know that I was doing it? Because you're not a guest.
No, I did not.
So.
See how organic that's acting.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was horrible. Okay. So the shakedown.
What is the shakedown?
It's a series of questions that I'm going to ask, and I'm going to ask these to all of our guests. They get the same questions.
Pizza.
And we're going to record the answers. So.
Oh, that's right. You're keeping a list.
I'm keeping a list so we can
for the archives.
So we can compare.
What are we comparing?
I don't know, just to see.
I feel like this is a medical
people's
exam.
Funny answers. When is the last time you have coughed up blood? Yeah. Okay, Die Hard.
This morning.
Die Hard, Christmas movie or action film?
Action film.
Somebody's going to be upset with you.
Yeah,
Beer or wine?
Both.
Can't. One or the other.
No, I can't.
We didn't let him answer both.
Both. I like them both.
I guess it depends on what you're eating.
Yeah.
Favorite season?
Winter.
I knew it.
It's fat guy weather.
Fat guy weather. Early riser or night owl?
Both. I'm definitely a night owl. I'm not an early riser.
You think you're a night owl?
I used to say
manual or automatic?
Manual. Manuel.
And your favorite toy as a kid? It's a timed show.
No, it was the pedal fire truck or big wheel, whatever. I had big wheels too, but I remember
a pedal car.
My folks, yeah, it was like a fire truck, and I dressed in a Batman outfit.
Okay, nice.
I think it was Batman.
That's where the cape comes from. Pet peeve.
People who chew loud.
Oh my god! That just happened.
I'm just kidding.
That just happened earlier.
Pet peeve. People not taking responsibility.
All right.
That's a big pet peeve of mine.
Past or future?
Man, I enjoy things that are from the past, the old stuff. But I'm looking forward to the future.
I would have to say past for you.
I live in the past?
You don't live in the past, but you enjoy the past. I think if you could have been born in an era, you would have loved to have grown up in the 50s. With all the old cars and the culture and the way people were.
Where men were men and women were something to behold. I'm just kidding. We're losing people fast.
What are your work tunes?
Work tunes?
What do you work to?
Oh, everything.
What kind of music?
Oh my gosh. The gamut's too wide.
Pick your fave.
If I'm drawing, it's
It's gonna get specific.
Yeah, no, seriously. If I'm drawing and stuff, it's usually some sort of like rockabilly type oldies music or something.
Working on the car?
If I'm working on, I like listening to like James Brown and some R&B stuff. Might even throw a little old school hip hop in there.
What? What about Facebook or Instagram?
I definitely like Instagram. There's not more pictures.
Okay.
But Facebook is a cool tool.
That was the shakedown.
Wow.
You passed with flying colors.
That was grueling. Hey, let me see. Let me see that. Let me do my version of the shakedown. Hard to Die or Killing a Christmas?
What?
Hard to Die or Kill a Christmas?
Hard to Die.
Cool. Beer or Shevitz?
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
You're a dork.
Anyways, whoa! What did I do?
So that was the shakedown.
That was a good time. Tell you what, I don't know how people make it through that.
I know it.
So what do you? Questions for you.
Okay.
See, so how important do you think it is for we'll say a lady, but let's say just in general, to have basic automotive skills?
I think it is important. I think it's very important. I know my dad was always tinkering on the cars. My brother is actually a mechanic, but he would always be out there with them. Even my older brother Ralph was out there with them doing stuff. So I didn't really get the hands-on part of it, and I wish I had learned more. I don't think that was something that I was really focused on when I was young, spending that kind of time with my dad, and I wish I could go back and do that now.
Right.
But, you know, a lot of people drive newer cars, and I know for me, I just call AAA, whatever is handled, but there are still some older cars out there, and we just had an incident tonight, actually. A friend of mine had posted on Facebook that she was stranded and she couldn't get the car to start. So I was like, oh my gosh, where are you? Found out they were super close to the house. So I was like, well, Johnny's with me, and I'll grab him and we'll come out and see if we can help. So he grabbed just a couple tools. You had like a wrench and a screwdriver, I think, and he even remembered to bring a flashlight, which I thought was awesome because I wasn't thinking that. I was like, oh, let me get my phone.
Yeah, you guys were all, hey, I got a phone. I'm like, hold on. Whoosh, click, click.
And he just got in there, and it wound up being a battery connection corrosion issue. And he basically just stripped off the corrosion, like kind of wiped it off with the screwdriver.
It's definitely a Band-Aid.
Yeah, she's going to need to get it fixed. But he was able to get the car to start, and I was like, that's sexy. But it was just awesome how he just, you know, he was able to just put it all together in his brain and come up with a solution that made sense. And I don't think I would have had that knowledge. Even if I had an entire toolbox, I don't think I would have even known where to start. So the troubleshooting ability that you have just really in any situation, I think is from just being stuck so many times and having to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's definitely life experience. I've never had to have those experiences, thank God, because I've always had somebody to take care of it for me.
Which is why it's important, I think, for you, like, if you had a flat tire, would you know how to change your own flat tire? Mm-hmm. You know where all your stuff is in your car?
And I would now, because you had me change tires on Raquel.
Now, before that, had you ever
I had never changed a tire.
Right, and you were a little leery about doing it as well, so...
I didn't think I'd be able to turn the screws off, or the nuts, or whatever they are.
Nuts or screws, whichever.
Yeah. I don't think I would have been able to turn them off, but then you're like, oh, you just put your foot on it and kick it down because you have more strength in your lower body. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, stupid little things like that. I really didn't know anything
about. So this
about.
lady's issue was that she had the battery terminals in her car were really corroded. And here's what's very, very sad, is she mentioned that this has happened last week.
No, she said it had been a couple months ago, like 6 months ago or something.
And she took it to a mechanic, and they fixed her. Now, both battery posts, the connections, the terminal pieces that go onto the battery itself, were pretty corroded. And the guy fixed the negative side, but didn't, and the positive side was horrible.
Then that maybe it got worse over time.
In the condition it was in, even in a good situation, it was not done right.
Oh.
And it was not good. So
I wouldn't have even thought to look there. I would have tried to jump it and really.
Well, and see, in that situation too, because there was so much corrosion around the terminal, even trying to jump it wouldn't have worked. Probably worked, unless you'd have luckily maybe got a little bit of contact to the main terminal on the battery. My concern was that there was so much corrosion that she wasn't even getting charged from the alternator to the battery. I'm like, how old's your battery? Oh, it's like 3-4 years old. I'm like, yeah, you probably need a new battery soon.
Yeah.
Because in Florida, and I'm sure you guys know, the heat itself, batteries don't last as long as they do in colder climate areas or more mild climate, just because of the heat.
Right, and so I wouldn't have known that.
Which is silly that we're talking automotive, like I am an automotive genius.
No, but it's
I have a basic
practical
knowledge of automotive.
If you want to know what it is, it's common sense stuff. And I've taken for granted the fact that somebody else was figuring that stuff out for me. Had he not been home, had he still been out of town, I mean, he literally just got back into town and this happened, and we went to go handle it for her. But
well, the thing I thought about is here's this lady who is willing. You know, her thoughts were, you know, and easily, had she had a little bit of knowledge, could have tried those things, right, and would have saved herself. Not necessarily. What if we couldn't have got there? Her idea was, I'll get home and then I'll have someone come and tow it.
Right, she was going to
pay for a tow.
So we at least
and not all insurance. You're an insurance agent. Not all insurance policies cover towing.
You have to specifically add it. Yeah.
And I think a lot of folks think that they're covered for towing as well, and they're you know, how many in your field, because that's what you do.
I'm an insurance agent.
He is an insurance agent. In your field, how many folks did not? Where you're offering, are you offering that as an option?
I actually generally do not offer it. I normally just put it on.
So now, okay, good to know.
It's $8 a year. Why wouldn't you get it? Why wouldn't you get it?
Right.
That's
so
what I tell them.
Under this circumstance, you know, had she had that, but does that now she gets towed? Does that go towards like points or something on her insurance?
It shows up as a claim on her record, and if she files multiple claims, it could be an issue if she tries to move carriers.
So that's what I'm saying. So, like, say she gets towed every 2 or 3 weeks.
There could be a negative effect, yes.
So there is possibilities it could. Sure. Okay. So it's not like this free service. Oh, I have towing on my insurance.
AAA is fine. AAA you can do that with, but.
Okay. And do most carriers cover is it AAA?
You have to buy a AAA membership. You have to contact AAA and buy a membership.
So that has nothing to do with insurance?
Separate from your insurance policy.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's probably something that would be for $8 generally?
No, it's $8 on my policy. AAA membership is like $30 a year, but it covers all your cars. I don't know the ins and outs. I don't sell for AAA.
Right.
But
what I'm saying is, if you don't have a basic knowledge of that stuff, it's probably a good investment to do that. We're not condoning or not, you know, we don't. Unless AAA wants to sponsor the show. Or
you want to be prepared.
All I know is there's been multiple times where I didn't know if I had towing or had towing, and where towing would have been way better option than driving from Zephyr Hills to here with no brakes? Like, did we have towing back then?
Yes.
I did.
Yeah.
What were we doing?
You said, let's see if we can make it home. Let's roll the dice. And I just went with it. I closed my eyes and just
that
the whole way home.
That was a ridiculous situation.
It was crazy.
We've
done that several times, actually.
But that was driving. Raquel's brakes had froze up, and for some reason I couldn't get them to unlock. And I finally got them to unlock. But every time I hit the brakes, they would just bind. Now I knew I had a brake problem, obviously, and we got that fixed. But during that time, I'm like, I got to get it home. So we drove from Zephyr Hills to here, which is about I don't know how many miles that is. But it's about an hour drive. Well, it's more than that because I was doing like 30 and then 20 and then 30. Trying to hit every green light I could.
There was also the time you had...
Without hitting the brakes.
You had no brake. One of your brake lines snapped, and we had to fix the brake lines in your parking lot.
Yeah.
At work.
That was when I first got the car. That was a fun time.
We've been through so much. I feel kind of good about now where stuff is under the hood, at least with the old cars. Because the new cars are a lot different, and I never knew that there was a difference between those two, either. I thought all cars were set up the same way.
Oh, no, there's so many different
now I know this.
And ways that things are done. So.
And then even just between the 51 Chevy that because we really worked side by side on a lot of that.
I'm glad that in that situation when we bought that car, that's why it's so hard to want to get rid of it.
We're not getting rid of it now.
Is that you have been involved in a lot of fixing and touching
and walking from breaking down and running out of gas.
Well, that's the story of how it all started for us. It's a great story. It's a great love story.
We're gonna save that for another time though.
Why?
Because we have 10 minutes.
Okay. You think that's a 10-minute story?
I think it's more than a 10-minute story, and I think there's other things that we want to cover.
Oh, you want to talk about you? Okay, no problem.
No.
What's the deal with soap?
That's the beginning of my comedy routine I'm putting
together. So the future of the 51. We've got guests that are lined up. And when I say guests lined up, it's not like they're lining up. Hold on, guys. We'll see you in a month from now. We have decided that we're going to try to do this twice a month. Mm-hmm. We definitely got this one in. I think you saw that it was enjoyable, and it was not as hard to throw together as far as all the strenuous stress of it all. Although I will say tonight you were a little stressed out.
Well, because you're like, your homework is to come up with some topics of stuff to talk about, and I'm like,
you came up with what did you get?
I had Q&A and fall weather.
So Q&A. So Q&A. Let's do a little Q&A.
You want to?
Yeah, I got a cool question. We'll throw us for the last couple minutes we got here, and it goes back to what we were talking about before, customization of a vehicle or your vehicle.
Okay.
How important to you, Ity-B, now that you've been around cars and stuff like that? How important do you think it is to customize your car?
I think it is.
Well, however far that is, and there's
people take it to different levels.
Right.
I think it is important to customize it, especially with the older cars. You see the newer cars out there, people with the eyelashes on them. I think it's silly, but that's what they like to do. So
careful, you don't want to.
I'm allowed to have an opinion. Even
Ity-B getting rowdy. It's the beanie.
It must be the beanie.
Going down.
It is. Especially with the older cars, just the more shows that I've attended and the different, I can see the same car done 50 different ways because of customization. The wheels, the interior, the paint job, the accessories, lowering it, channeling it, all of these different things.
Look at you. No, that's awesome. No, what I'm saying, I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. I'm saying, look at you. If you'd have taken you 10 years ago when we started, you wouldn't even.
I wouldn't even know what those things meant.
Well, you would have said that car looks just like that car, and now you're looking at cars and you're seeing that car is not the same as that car.
Because here's what I have found out: my all-time favorite car, if I had
what would be your
endless amount of money, I would want a 49 Mercury.
Who wouldn't?
However,
get in line.
And he just showed me this tonight because I asked, because I knew that the grill was not stock.
Factory.
I said factory installed.
No, you said factory
install.
No, that's not what you said. It was factory equipment or something like. Anyway,
what factory standard?
Well, we'll see. Eddie Nash says, make your car regardless of what you think your
customization.
Yeah, for sure.
That's right.
Eddie Nash is a good person who's had some
Eddie
really cool
Nash
custom.
had that Rambler.
Let's go. Is that Lane?
Kelton.
Mm-hmm. Customization is your personality for sure.
It is.
No stock cars in my house says you're good with names, babe. I'm horrible with names. I agree. We're the same way. I think customization. I agree with you. Customization is important.
Yes.
And it's to say important. I'm not saying that, listen, if you got your last nickel, spend it on, go in debt trying to customize your vehicle. I'm not saying that, but I think there's something to be said. But most car people want their car to have some sort of thing that says something about themselves. So
let me get back to my 49 because the grill on that is actually a DeSoto grill. That is the grill.
Right, the grill that you prefer is not the factory
standard
grill, which that is still a pretty cool grill. You like the DeSoto because you like that chunky tooth look.
I do, and I'd want it lowered in the back because it's got that mean stance, and it almost looks like teeth, and then chopped. And I just want it long, lead sled like. I want it long and I want it black.
I'm so proud of you for the words that you're using.
So turning you on?
Yeah, it kind of is. White walls or no white walls?
I definitely want to do the white walls. I'd have to look at it though and see if I want the thick or thin.
Thin, really? Okay.
Yeah, because I want it to be dark. I don't want a big white stripe.
And when you say dark, you've said that about a lot of things. Like every time I talk about Raquel, I'm like, yeah, what about this color? You're like, it needs to be sinister.
Yeah, that's what I like.
You like the look of something that looks very.
I do. I want to do it black, and I used to want to do it flat black because that was a favorite of yours, and I think I just was like, oh, if he likes it, I'll like it. But I think I'm gearing more towards like a black with a flake in it. Kind of like my nails have the black with the green in it. See,
that's something I think you've also come to appreciate is a lot of the old school like metal flake and some of the pinstriping and stuff like that. Where before, I know you're still not a scallops person. You still don't like scallops.
Do not like the scallops.
Yeah, but as far as
even if they are metal.
That's not your thing.
From last week.
That's not your thing, but you do enjoy metal flake and different customized paint jobs and stuff.
We did the lace top on Raquel.
Yeah, and that's something I think has been interesting too, because both of our tastes have changed, even from when I started.
Yeah. When
we were together, what I thought would be the
my taste was your taste in the beginning because I didn't know any better. But then I've developed my own taste, which I think is kind of cool.
It is cool, and you're learning still because a lot of your tastes aren't. I'm just kidding. Yeah, look at Eddie Nash just popped up. Yeah, there it is, 49 Mark DeSoto Grill. Now, do you like that chrome trim on the side like that, or would you remove that?
On the side, I wouldn't keep
You see that chrome piece? Yeah.
No, I would take
Lakes pipe, definitely. I definitely love you got to go with spotlights. Appletons.
I'd have to look at all that and see what I would do.
And black is a cool color. And I agree with you.
Black.
And that's the unfortunate thing is flat black is great. It's a great start in color. I think when you go to patinas become a big thing. But that's almost become the new flat black. Everybody is now doing patina. And eventually that'll probably get where people will, I gotta do something different. And that's the cool thing about the car culture, is that there's a lot of trends that start trends, and then you'll see some
people fade off
have enough guts to say, I'm not gonna do that, I'm gonna do this. And then that becomes the new trend, which is really, really cool.
I don't care if it's a trend or not. 9 times out of 10 when I go get my nails done, I'm getting black. There's generally always black on my nails in some way, shape, or form. So
for sure,
I like the black.
You do.
Do you have outro music?
I do. It's all queued up. Don't you worry.
Great. We only have about 2 minutes left. That was premature.
Yeah, whoops.
We have 2 more minutes.
Happens
We want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight, though, to watch.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. Another 51 episode in the books. 50 minutes. So it's been a great time. Thanks for hanging out with us. How many we got left, by the way?
We've got 17. You got to get up and ready.
Nice. We'll do that. So the outro music will come.
Yep.
This has been the 51. I'm Johnny Jalopy.
Thanks, guys. I'm
Ity-B. We'll catch you guys again later.